Catholic News Roundup is brought to you in part by PewSitter.com, your online Catholic newspaper for the third millennium, CatholicMediaCoalition.org, in line with the Church, online with the world.
And TheAmericanCatholic.com, politics and culture from a Catholic perspective.
Hello and welcome to today's edition of Catholic News Roundup. I'm Matthew McAuliffe. Attack from Within, a dissident group with a concentration of Catholic clergy supporters, is stirring the pot of controversy in Chicago, Illinois, over a priest threatened with dismissal for publicly supporting the ordination of women. One retired Chicago priest claims that the majority of priests do not agree with what he calls, quote, the vapid reasoning of the Catholic Church on the issue of ordaining women. The group Call to Action has collected over 150 priest signatures, including 8 in Chicago, on a petition to keep Father Roy Bourgeois from being expelled for challenging church teaching on the issue. Call to Action calls itself America's leading organization for, quote, reform-minded Catholics, and claims to have 25,000 members nationwide, 30% of which are priests and nuns. You can read the full article, including the part about Call to Action's strategy map to spread liturgical change and homosexual rights throughout the Church in America, on our resource page by clicking the link right outside the screen. Dark Mark of History. A trial beginning this week in Philadelphia will mark the first time a church official is charged for the administrative actions of knowingly transferring pedophile priests to unsuspecting parishes. The trial takes place following the recent juror report on child sex abuse in February, bringing Monsignor William Lynn in front of the bench for conspiracy and child endangerment. Lynn will be tried alongside 3 priests and a school teacher, all charged with rape, although 2 of the priests and the school teacher allegedly forced themselves on the same 10-year-old boy, according to the grand jury report. Lynn himself faces 28 years in prison if found guilty. Forced contraception. The Obama administration is calling for mandated population control, made clear after Health and Human Services, or the HHS, released a statement earlier this week saying that sterilizations and contraceptives will be a mandatory part of Obamacare. In the release, HHS Secretary Catholic in name only, Kathleen Sebelius, groups pregnancy with health problems by saying, quote, the Affordable Care Act helps stop health problems before they start, while the statement goes on to say that contraception and sterilizations will be free in the new plan. LifeSiteNews.com says that the HHS invited comment on a possible amendment to the regulation that allows religious institutions to offer the choice of excluding contraceptives from their plan, but America's United for Life points out the effort would most likely fall short. A staff council member of the group says, quote, the Obama administration has repeatedly demonstrated that its idea of conscience is narrow and protections are shallow or meaningless. Stay with us. We'll be back in just a few seconds.
Catholic News Roundup is brought to you in part by NewOxfordReview.org, the voice of Catholic Orthodoxy, in print and on the web, and RenewAmerica.com, expanding the influence of America's grassroots in the cause of freedom.
Polygamist plays prophet. The trial of Warren Jeffs, polygamist, alleged rapist, and self-proclaimed prophet, has threatened his prosecutors with divine vengeance, as he claims to be relaying messages from God. According to theblaze.com, Jeffs has fired his attorneys in order to represent himself and says God has promised to, quote, send a scourge upon the counties of prosecutorial zeal to be humbled by sickness and death, end quote. He says the threat is directed at those who try to keep him from practicing polygamy as part of his religion, which he claims causes rejoicing in heaven and is his right in America as a freedom of religion. Although Jeffs is being tried right now for the alleged rape of 2 young girls he forced into, quote, spiritual weddings, he will be tried again later this fall on charges of bigamy. You can read the full article about the trial, which gives a history of Jeffs and his activities up to his 2011 trial, on our resource page by clicking the link right over here. Father keeps abortion billboard. For now, the fight of an aborted baby's father to keep his pro-life billboard up has paid off. A New Mexico district judge has ruled that Greg Fultz can keep his billboard up along the main highway through the town of Alamogordo until he can schedule a full hearing to evaluate Foltz's freedom of speech rights in light of his opponent's right to privacy. Foltz put a billboard up in May that says, quote, "This would have been a picture of my 2-month-old baby if the mother had decided not to kill our child." The woman who aborted his child is suing him for harassment and violation of property. I'm Matthew McAuliffe. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure and tune in tomorrow for your daily dose of Catholic News Roundup right here on RealCatholicTV.com. And be sure to check out The Vortex today, where Michael talks about the essential and mortal differences between belief and acceptance. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure and tell all your friends about us, and as always, God bless.